last 20 years, I've worked with hundreds of organisations to improve their business and operational quality, mostly through improving their IT services, help desks and service desks. In this series, we follow that process as I look at a chosen company and their service desk delivery as the service desk inspector. Last time, I set Mirus a number of challenges in order to develop their service quality. This episode, I've come back to see how they've got on. In order to find out, I do some more individual interviews, plus I've asked the management team to present their progress in a meeting. This will be led by Ben Quelch. Also, in this episode, I'm going to spend some more time talking with service desk staff on the front line. And I'll be talking directly to some Mirus customers to find out what they think of the service and dealing with the company. Welcome to episode 2 of the Service Desk Inspector. I'm back at Mirus IT in Milton Keynes to follow up the first episode and the recommendations that I made. Since I've been here, I've also written a report which I've submitted, which has got lots of recommendations and advice and so on. And so today it's a question of going in and seeing how they've got on. So let's go and have a look. There certainly has been a lot of activity. Matt York has been hired as a problem manager. This is quite unusual to get this progress so quickly. Mirus are also well into the progress of hiring a service delivery manager. Progress has been positive in all the areas highlighted in my consultancy report. At the review meeting, Ben lays out the actions taken in more detail.
We've actually organised some separate meetings away from our monthly senior management meeting to actually go through the business plan, understand the risks that are in the business, and just spend a bit more time around those areas that you've recommended for improvement. We've actually got a new marketing manager coming on board. She joins the business on the 7th of March, I believe, off the top of my head.
For me, this is all very positive and constructive, particularly the part where MD Paul Tomlinson has booked a holiday.
Paul's actually already booked a holiday. It's booked for early June. So that is the deadline for us to get all the previous items in place, really, and that comfort criteria defined.
It's actually 11 days that I'm away for.
Goodness me.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Paul has also started writing down anything where he feels he carries out a task that could be handed over to his management team.
The problem manager, service delivery manager, hopefully will be on board shortly. We've identified somebody in the business to be the interface for the project management side of the business.
I was approached to come along in problem management capacity to do the works, I guess. So that involves the whole proactive approach, the trend analysis, that kind of stuff.
I think it is a positive step because it means we now have a dedicated resource to look at problem areas and then look at how we eliminate them.
We have seen some change in Paul, but Paul will always be Paul. I think he's that drive and passion to get things done will always be there.
He was at a conference for 3 days and was off for a kind of another day, so there was almost a week where he was away from the business, and he kind of put together a list of things that he still would felt that he needed to get involved in.
We're seeing the internal side of it. The marketing person comes on board in March to grow the external side of it, to try and grow the income side of it, essentially. So I think we've geared up through some of the changes you've recommended and some of the changes we were going to make anyway. We've geared up for that internally, and now the $1 million question is, can we get the income in to sort of get the external side of it, essentially?
It's mostly about keeping the customer sweet. If if they're panicking, you just got to basically say no in a different way, to them, not telling them to calm down, but just to basically reassure them this problem is going to be fixed.
It's no different to in everyday life. If someone's annoyed or if they're kicking off, I'm not the sort of person who's going to kick off back. I'll just try and keep calm, try and resolve it. So that's, for me, it's just, I'll just listen to what they're saying and just try and be understanding and then go from there, really.
As long as you keep them updated of what's going on and how it's getting the issues actually getting on, so they don't have to keep chasing up. I think that's a key part, because if they keep chasing, of course they're going to get a little bit upset.
When reviewing a service operation like Mirus, it's essential to talk directly to some customers. I do this both by phone and in person where possible. To do this, we'll visit Northampton Saints Rugby Club, who are a Premiership team and who rely on Mirus for their IT services and support.
3 years now with Morris, so it's been a good journey for us. You can't buy a ticket unless we've got a computer. Obviously, we can't invoice our customers without computers, all the way through to the player and analysis department. One of the big advantages, again from a Morris standpoint for us, is that most of the people there are actually taught what I would call real English as opposed to IT speak, which I think is important from our point of view because we don't have an IT department. You know, whilst I know a bit about IT myself, I'm still not an expert at it, and I need things probably explaining in baby language to me. And actually, when they get a user phoning them, you know, they need to have, you know, it explained to them in rudimentary terms, really. But you know, that's a skill that I don't think a lot of companies actually possess, and it's a good point. It's probably one of the best points of them, really. Obviously, with everything, there's always room for improvement, and it's only little things that would make a difference. But yeah, no, I'd certainly give it an 8 out of 10. It's, you know, it's been a good service for us, and it's kept us running very, very well. What I would do or probably change a little bit is a bit more consistency in the people that actually come and visit us as a site, which isn't a major criticism. The people that come are always good, but actually it's nice from, I think, not my point of view, but maybe a staff point of view, that they see the same engineers time and time again because they become part of their department and actually they become reliable. What is good value for money? Value for money is when you don't have to worry about the IT and it doesn't cause you any hassles. You know, I don't think you can put a price on that, to be honest with you. What you want is a service that's seamless and works and it's fixed before it actually happens.
The feedback has been very positive. The only points raised generally related to where organisations would like to have seen the same engineer turning up for support calls. This in reality is not a major issue and can in fact mean that the customer is very happy with their engineers. It can mean in some cases that they are less happy with some specific individuals, but on further questioning I'm pretty comfortable that it's not a big deal here. So Paul, looks like a lot's happened since I was here last time. Tell me a little bit about what's been going on.
Things have moved further forward, so you know, after you came last time I decided to make a note. I had a couple of days off and made a note of all the things that I got involved with that I felt I had to get involved with. So that's made me comfortable in the process of trying to understand why I'm not comfortable.
We talked a lot about the management team and, you know, how you're going to come to trust them. How are you feeling about that now?
I definitely think the senior management team I've got are the right people for the business. Whether or not they're at the right level and have a good enough understanding of the business, given that some of them have only been with us a very short time. I've been here for nearly 10 years. So I think if I can do the right job and pass the knowledge on to them and, you know, pass on what my expectations are, then I think they could be the right people for the business. Obviously they need to step up, you know, and sort of embrace that. Ben's kind of taken over the responsibility of trying to do the service delivery manager's role, but obviously not to the level that we need, as well as taking on some of the operational day-to-day bits. And since he's been here, I've been able to concentrate a lot more on strategic things within the business, not to the level that I want to going forward, but it's certainly freed up an awful lot of my time. Once we've got the service delivery manager in place and Ben's time's then freed up, he can concentrate on what he's really here for, and then that should free me up to kind of concentrate on where we want to take the business to. I didn't necessarily want someone who'd done that role for 20 years in another organisation. I was concerned that they may say, you know, they may try and change the culture of the business from, you know, the culture of the business is very important to me. We have a lot of fun, we get a lot of work done. But if I bring someone in who's very experienced and, you know, they might get great results, but everyone might not want to come to work in the morning. We've recognised that, you know, whilst we've been growing as a business, the profits haven't been growing in line with the turnover. And we know that, you know, we're not in a cash-strapped situation, you know, we're not going to go bust tomorrow or anything else like that. But it'd be nice to be able to get to a point where our overheads are covered every month by the support revenue that we're seeing coming in. And I think people like the problem manager and service delivery manager will help to give us those efficiencies, you know, that will obviously translate into profit. So certainly, you know, if we could say that we achieved an SDI certification and we achieved a profitable service desk with happy customers, I think that would be utopia, really. That would be the right place that we'd like to be.
My main concern going forward is in fact around the pace of change and how the organisation copes with bringing in new people quickly. From my experience, this pace of change usually can have side effects, and I wouldn't be surprised if there are some further discussions on new issues that crop up in the medium term. For now, however, it seems that good progress is being made and that the organisation is keen to move forward and support growth. I'm very impressed with the progress made, with a slight reservation that sales will need to be made and more business won in order to support the growth and new headcount. I'll be keen to see the new marketing person and what they can bring to the organisation moving forward. So I guess it's the nature of the beast, an organisation of this size that can make change happen so quickly and get things done. It's only 4 weeks since I've been here and they've achieved a fantastic amount. They've hired one new person, a new role in place. They are in the process of hiring a service delivery manager. They are doing a whole pile of other things in line with the recommendations that I gave them, both here and in my report. So they are doing a lot, and they are taking this process very seriously, with a view perhaps at the end of it to achieving certification for the service desk, as well as getting the kind of business results that they are looking for. And it's that kind of alignment of basically business objectives with what IT and service desks are doing that it would be great to see across the industry in a more clearly defined way. We have this problem in large organisations of separating these things out, and actually the fact is that when you see it in the role with a smaller organisation, it's one and the same thing. So I look forward to coming back and seeing what further progress they've made. Next month we will look in detail at the reports and management information produced by the service desk, and how this can be developed to provide more value to the business and the operation of the desk. We'll also look at how the organisation might start to look at defining some new service definitions, as well as keeping an eye on the progress with the management team and recruitment.